right up. Now, Chrescendo is a very strong player. Was seeded 3rd? 4th? I'm the one who actually did the seeding, so I can go ahead and look that up. Sixth. Back in November 30th, Chrescendo had a 109.56. Up against Jelluh, who was seeded 70th with a 118.30. Now that was a little bit ago. That's not necessarily to say where these players are at now. But it's going to be an uphill battle for Jelluh, to be sure. Just through movement optimization alone, Chrescendo's already built up a couple of seconds lead getting to this bridge here in Cappy Kingdom. Gonna go ahead and do our first capture. Frog never saw it coming. Much like Little Nemo the Dream Master, we're just gonna go ahead and borrow this frog's body to jump really high for a little bit. Going for some movement tech here to get up the top hat. Very good for Chrescendo. Jelluh's gonna play it safer, roll around the outside. Topper fight, pretty simple. A little less simple the second time around. But for now, it's not gonna be a problem for Chrescendo. Jelluh, though, Topper gets away a little bit. Not too much time lost, though. Still, it's not often you see this much of a separation this early on in the race. Doesn't bode well. But some things can happen. And most importantly, you just want to see them do their best. As a player, you absolutely want to do your best. So let's cheer them both on. For now, we got Cascade Kingdom. Capturing the Chain Chomp. Throw him into the block. We got our first moon. One of many. Get used to seeing that cutscene. There is a moon obtainable earlier. It gets left for after the boss fight. Wait, no, it's after this. It's up there. Just waiting. I think Chrescendo is going to go straight to... Yep. Straight to the T-Rex. It's dino time. Going for the dino skip. Left foot needs to break those blocks. Land on that trampoline. First try, executed very well. I've seen players struggled with this at the start of the tournament, but more and more I've been seeing players get this first try. I think people have kind of figured it out a little bit more. See what Jelluh goes for. Ooh, had a bit of a different movement there, but it's gonna work. No, not quite enough. It's hard enough to get the dino to jump at all, but you also need to get the dino close enough to the wall that you can successfully get into that loading zone for that fight. Second try, also not going to work. As Chrescendo is done with the Madame Brutal fight. Pretty simple. Capture the Chain Chomp, throw it back in her face. Jelluh gets the dino skip, third try. But Crescendo's had a very smooth run so far. We saw even the second highest seed of the tournament, Samurai Man, got a PB in a race earlier today. Even the top players are not quite at the point where their runs are really all that optimized. And here's that moon I was talking about, grabbing it real quick so we can get on out of the Cascade Kingdom. Madame Brutal finished up for Jelluh. They're going to be moving on to Sand Kingdom next. Pretty sure. We might see a route difference there. A couple of different options. Some of them harder than others. Some of them faster than others. Some of them riskier than others, so... That, or players might just not know, might have not kept up with the latest developments. Though to be fair, I think really the only latest thing was the RC car skip, scooter clip. We're into sand now. See if Crescendo's gonna be going for this bird. You can get this bird now or get it in the Oasis later. He's going straight into the pipe. And yeah, Sphinx clip. Another question mark. If you don't get it right away, it can cost you time. So Crescendo's not going to be worrying about the bird. Gonna be going for the top of the sand dune here. Can be pretty hard to find the top of the sand dune. That's another thing I think top players have finally kind of gotten down. Not having to fish around at the top of the hill for the correct placement of that ground pound. Because there's really no good cue for it. You kind of just gotta feel it out. So Jelluh's going in. I believe that's the employees only moon. Chrescendo moving very well through a tricky section there. That bullet bill was launched. Crescendo's gonna try to keep that bullet bill. Oh, there it goes. If possible, you want that thing to follow you over to this moon, so it's very close and ready for a capture. Now he's going to have to go back and get it. A small error, and is maybe one of the only things that has gone wrong for Chrescendo in the first 8.5 minutes here. Jelluh has 3 moons and is moving to the top of the hill, and here's what I was talking about. Can't always find the right spot. It is very picky. But second try's not bad. There's the Sphinx. I think he's going for the clip. Bonk. No. And I think it is now lost time. I think it saves 6 or 7 seconds. But he's committed at this point. If you were gonna go for it at all, it makes sense not to give up, so there it is. Does eventually get that clip. The hat was a little high there, so not quite as many coins as Chrescendo would have liked. There we go. And Jelluh, I don't think, is going to be getting a bullet bill manipulation either. And Jelluh's going somewhere. Oh, okay, I see. Going to the side of the pyramid from this way. And now here's a scary moment. If Chrescendo doesn't successfully get that wall jump. That's just generally where people go wrong. It's off the first wall jump. You can fall into the purple stuff. And that's no good, but not a problem for Chrescendo. Also opening that chest, grabbing 50 coins. We need some coins to buy some moons throughout the run. Also, this is a race, so if you die, you can't just reset, and you will lose coins if you die. So having some extra, just in case the worst happens. There's the bird! Okay, not gonna get it there. I think he gets another try. Alright. Not too bad. Up to the top of the palm trees. Can be a little weird grabbing those notes with the circle hat maneuver, but having no problem with it is Chrescendo. Jelluh not too far behind. Hasn't really lost any time here in Sand Kingdom, I think. Came in a ways back because of that dino skip. Hasn't really caught up or made any ground, but impressive to keep pace with a player like Chrescendo. Oh, on the edge of the palm tree there, slipped off. Salvageable though. Oh, okay, another fall. It's blinking, get up there! Oh, I think that was a last-ditch upwards hat throw that didn't pay off. Always so easy the second time. Crescendo's first one into the Lake Kingdom. Whereas Jelluh's done with the palm tree. And is going to be boarding the Odyssey. The Kingdom opens up with that one moon in the ground off to the side. Go up and do the zipper. And now it's time to go swimming. Lots of moons underwater. Cheap moves pretty quick. Makes for a good combination. Can be hard to optimize this though. Cutting your corners and taking the shortest lines you can is not to be underestimated. It's easy, like there's no risk of, well, there's this, which is not so easy. Nice jump out of the water there for Chrescendo. But, you know, there's no, you're not gonna die or anything swimming around. There's no punishment, but it's very hard to execute optimally. You're gonna lose seconds over time, basically, against a stronger player who was able to swim that thing around just a little better. Now, I was educated on the name of that brutal that Chrescendo has swiftly dispatched. And I've already forgotten. I learned about Spewart, and that one stuck in my head. And I don't think it'll ever leave. But, that guy, I don't know, I'm just gonna call him Chad, I guess. Rango. I guess it's kind of like a boomerang. I don't know. I think they kind of phoned it in on Rango. Anyway, it's one of the simplest brutal fights. You jump on top of him, and then you jump on top of him, and then you jump on top of him, and then you jump on top of him. No problems for Jelluh. Oh, and then you jump on top of him again, by the way. To close out that strat. Did you write it down? Crescendo's into the Wooded Kingdom. No trouble tracking down the rabbit for the moon. I don't know what walking one rock into another does to destroy both, but no problem there. And now it's time to spend money. We got these coins for a reason. We got them for moons. And maybe a death. We didn't get them for hats or silly costumes. It's only serious business here. Serious speedrunning. Capturing this weird onion thing. Got some extendo legs. You'll be seeing some more of that later on in Wooded Kingdom. Jelluh is now starting Wooded Kingdom as Crescendo gets to this really tricky part here. I've seen a lot of players get tripped up and lose time through this sort of secret underground section. Oh, almost a beautiful looking room. Is gonna have to wait for the water now. But yeah, Crescendo was looking really good there, especially with that first hat throw to get going. Ground pound jump off of the retreating pipe. And we're off. Jelluh having a bit of trouble taking a corner, but does get up to the nut. As Crescendo is done with the extendo onion. Takes care of the piranha plant. Going around back here for a moon. Getting the full height jumping off of the, or sort of uncapturing these onion enemies when they're at the very top of their height, so that you can smoothly land on whatever platform you're trying to get up to without having to do like a, you know, a dive cap throw and or any of that. Is pretty tricky, actually. Crescendo going for peace switchless, I think. Man. Movement looking good in Wooded Kingdom, as Jelluh is also in this tricky section. Here's another moment where you need to get up to the top of your height. Able to get it. Oh, not quite. And Jelluh. Where you going, Jelluh? Okay, it is a death. I'm not quite sure which voids lead to the Lost Woods and which ones don't. Here's the spirit fight. It's a variation on jump on top of him, where you have to wait and jump, and then he goes under you. Totally different. But well executed all the same by Chrescendo. That's true, those fights are a... that's true, rather, to the sound defense in chat. You can be collecting coins if you need them, or if you died and lost some. Those are opportunities for free coins. Jelluh showing us what the P-switch does there. Onion enemy getting away from Jelluh a little bit. Can't capture him if he's just legs. Legs don't wear hats. I hope you can't hear the car outside. But it looks like it stopped, so we're good. Jelluh has no trouble getting that moon. There is a bracket. Exclamation mark SMO, as you can, or you already saw 10 seconds ago. We'll pull up the bracket and the schedule for upcoming matches. There's a ton of matches today. Chrescendo is into Cloud Kingdom and is going for the fast stuff here against Bowser. Getting too close, wearing the with the hat, Bowser will just kind of yoink it back. So standing this close is very risky. But it is a little faster than waiting for him to throw it out, having your hat, leaving it there, running up to him, and then capturing it. Oh, misses it. Timing's pretty tight here. He's gonna play this last one safe. This is still quite a bit faster than the way that most people probably did this fight when they played it. I was gonna say intended, but I think what players are doing here is also intended by developers, just another option. But generally you get the hat too far away from Bowser, and so he sees you coming and jumps away, and you gotta jump over some fire rings, dodge some bombs. You can get around all that just by making sure you have that hat on right in front of him. So one missed cycle there from Chrescendo into Lost Kingdom. Movement here is very hard early on. Yes, good job. That palm tree jump is very tricky. Lots of different ways to approach it. Going up for the butterfly now is gonna... which is fair. There's a pretty big penalty for falling here. This route players take through Lost Kingdom is to skip the Klepto sequence, where that dang bird from Super Mario 64 that took your hat will take your hat. And it's costly to go through that whole section, so moving in that way lets us skip the trigger for that cutscene. We get to keep our hat, don't have to worry about it. But if you fall there, where that butterfly is, it's possible to get back on track, but it's costly, and it's a little tricky. Not to mention falling is going to cost you time just in and of itself. Jelluh, ooh, got a little too close there. And Chrescendo going for something there with the cage. Busts it open and then takes a death. I'm not sure, honestly, if it stays open. I think it does. It does. So this is not too costly a death. That moon is right there. And we've got another one. We'll see if Chrescendo's going for Deathless here. Under the bridge. Possible to get this moon and not die. But it is incredibly tricky. And I think with that hat placement, it's already not going to happen. But we saw Samurai Man pull that off. Anyway, the Death Warp here is it's not very punishing. But we're out. We're out of Lost Kingdom just as Jelluh, who has wrapped up the Bowser fight, is going to be entering Lost Kingdom. And we might be seeing some different strats here from Jelluh. So let's take a look. We are going up to the palm tree. It's a triple jump. And making sure to aim into the cliff there. Not trying to go straight outwards. Try to cover more distance and take a straighter line. But it is risky. Jelluh didn't want to risk it. Got a butterfly. Also playing it pretty safe. And it looks like we've pretty much got a Klepto skip from Jelluh. Chrescendo's into Dark Metro, Night Metro, Rainy Metro. I've heard lots of different ways to refer to this section. Chrescendo jumping over the checkpoint flag. I know that when you do runs, you don't need to grab the checkpoint flags. I mean, there's a couple that you do for routing purposes. But in a race, I feel like these checkpoint flags that cost sometimes less than a second to pick up as a just-in-case situation, I feel like they're worth it. I feel like more players, even strong players, should be going for at least some of these checkpoint flags. But who knows? Maybe, you know, doing something different, something you don't normally do, maybe that's enough to throw you off, to make it not worth it. Chrescendo into a tricky section on the inside of this skyscraper. Moving very well. Getting off the top of the screen a little bit. Getting tripped up a little bit in that gap there, but does clear it. Jelluh setting up for this under the bridge moon. Is he gonna be able to get out of this? Oh. Wow, okay, nice job. Jelluh avoiding the death. Chrescendo, meanwhile, is through with the skyscraper. And into the Mecha Wiggler fight. Wow, 3 shots. Very well placed to deal with the first phase. But the second phase is where things get tricky. Chrescendo is making it look so easy to hit all those body parts of the Mecha Wiggler. It is a lot more finicky than that. And on the second phase, you've also got fireballs coming in that you need to deal with. Chrescendo's moving here to manipulate Mecha Wiggler's movements, make these travels across the stage as short as possible. Taking out the fireballs mostly before they spawn. And here we go, trying to snipe as many of these sections. Need to get all of these purple sections down. Got those bottom 2, able to get the top 2, and get the 2 cycle. Meanwhile, Jelluh's looking good in Metro. Riding high off to that successful under the bridge moon. I should probably look up what Jelluh's current PB is, because I feel like it's got to be a lot better than the time Jelluh was seated with. There's a couple of monsters in this bracket, actually. friend of mine, Crankdud, was kind of new to the game, was still picking it up, and was seated with a 117 and pulled off a 109. No, 110. Almost a 109 in his first race. So some people have improved a lot since their PBs. Jelluh's got a 115.38 on the leaderboard right now, which I think is about 2 minutes faster than the PB start of the tournament. So Chrescendo is into Metro proper. Perfect 3-point turn with the RC car. Not going to be going for the scooter skip. I bet people will be very happy when a way to skip the RC car was found. It's very finicky. And then it turned out the thing that was found was a clip that is even more finicky than the RC car. Or maybe equally finicky with a different way. Jelluh struggling a little bit here in Rainy Metro. Does clear that gap between the two girders. Reopens the chest for the pre-collected moon. Crescendo's on top of the skyscraper. Going to take out the trash. Showing us how it's done. Answering that question. Jelluh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes these hits just don't register on these body parts. Is able to get the fight started off proper. As Chrescendo is scaling the skyscraper. Kind of adorable the way Mario scampers up there. And then the hat dive off into the pool. See if Chrescendo can get the... Yep, one try. Was kind of far off. I feel like the game was a little generous on that one. It does get the Cafe Moon. Just rolling on the right there is a pretty good way to get through this section. Some guys will come in through the door. Meanwhile, Jelluh actually getting the 2-cycle. Nice job. If you're going to have struggles on one of the sections, you want it to be the first one. It's a little more forgiving. Way to bounce back after a death. Now we're going to talk to Pauline a little bit, talk to some of these band members. Yo! As Jelluh gets into the bright and sunny Metro as well. So we're out. We don't have time to mess around with Pauline. We got something much more important to do over here at this park. First, it turns out one of Mecha Wiggler's body parts was hiding a moon. And the second, we have an I love that emote. Hold up. Okay! Yay! I feel like you guys are a bit early. I mean, I was late by a second or so. But there's no way the stream delay is that short. It's like Deer Force. You gotta wait for it to be on the screen, then you... There's multiple OTAP emotes? I'm not surprised. Meanwhile, I've totally neglected Jelluh's RC car. I hope it went well. You're right. People suffering from premature OTEP, it's a real thing. It happens to everyone. And it's not something to joke about. You're right. Jelluh is able to take out the trash, just barely, getting the moon on the way down. As Chrescendo is into the Snow Kingdom. He's looking good on coins, so does not need to go to Seaside first. I'm gonna go say hello to Captain Toad. He's already found a moon for us, and he just gives it away. He's not in it for the cash. You know, he's in it for the glory. He's in it for the discovery. I think we can all learn something from him. Jelluh having a bit of trouble with the Cafe Moon. Does get it. Chrescendo moving well with the wall jumps at the start of this section. Jelluh rolling on the right. No problems as well. Another moon for sale. We'll go ahead and pick that up. There's 2 timers because one, if for whatever reason the players are out of sync, we can sync them up again. 2, when one player finishes, they're going to stop their timer. And 3, some players have, you know, they put a little pizzazz into their timers, and so that can kind of come through on stream a little bit. You get a little idea of what the player is like through what their timer is, maybe. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but we're into this section now. Hitching a ride on those blocks, and looking good is Chrescendo. Moon up top here. Our Jelluh is going to go ahead and grab these 2 moons. Capturing the... I can't remember the name. It's like Blow... Joe Blow. Able to do that part successfully, capture him, blow all the spinies off. Blowy Joey, Uncle Blowy. Alright, Goombas can be a little trouble sometimes. Chrescendo spawning the icicle from the ceiling, having no trouble with these Goombas. Need all 4, by the way. If something happens to one, you have to come up with a backup. Make it respawn, get some other moon. And Jelluh's a little low on coins, so Jelluh's going to be going to Seaside. And we're going to have a route difference here for a little bit. Pretty good job getting up to that high moon early on. In Seaside Kingdom, a bonk into the side of the pipe. Less desirable. And that's Chrescendo's final moon of snow. Ground pound jump to get started. Good job grabbing that moon. I think it's possible to get straight to the moon without having to do the wall jump off the back, but it's very tricky. Also very tricky is this music notes section. All you gotta do is hold up, but man, oh, did not miss one. I wasn't sure, but I mean, the commentary viewer in those bright colors, things get a little hard to read visibly, but does get it. A bit of left and right wiggle, but kept it on track. And able to get the moon afterwards pretty quickly. You're going so fast, it can be very hard to find the right angle to jump straight at the moon afterwards. A lot of players will nail the music note part and then jump right past the moon. I guess we're going to find out how it goes for Chrescendo soon, having done Snow Kingdom. Is now following Jelluh through Seaside. And here's a number of the coins. Whoops, need to be a little lower to grab that moon. A number of the coins that is the reason for coming to Seaside before Snow. Because we saw Chrescendo buy that moon for 100. Chrescendo does not have 100. Still looking for a bit more. Don't worry, Chrescendo's not behind. He's a whole Snow Kingdom ahead. Long jump, and yep, is able to get the moon directly, showing us an advanced strat for that room. Jelluh's struggling a little bit with the Cheep Cheep. Does get that moon to appear. Here's the music note section for Chrescendo. Steering very well. And then into the moon. Nice. Chrescendo is in the lead by a lot. He has completed all of Snow Kingdom, and Jelluh has not. And this is what we expected. Chrescendo, his PB is about 7 minutes ahead of Jelluh's. One of the top seeds, the top seed of this group. And I think Jelluh might be the bottom, maybe second. Yeah, second to last seed in this group. And with the way Chrescendo's playing, it doesn't look like the upset is going to be possible. But still, Jelluh is gonna keep Chrescendo honest. Jelluh's gonna put a time up there that says Chrescendo needs to play the game and play it right, basically. And if he doesn't, he'll get punished. So we see Jelluh into Snow Kingdom now, trying to get to Captain Toad. Chrescendo did do the Sphinx clip, but it took a couple of tries. I think it ended up being slower. And Chrescendo done with Seaside, and having already done Snow. The players' routes have now finally synced back up. So Chrescendo, most of a kingdom ahead. Not quite. With 102 coins, Jelluh is going to be able to purchase this moon. Yeah, the points in the challenge don't count for too much. The tiebreakers are based off of your wins versus the other people in your group who are tied, and your fastest time in the tournament. So that's another thing here. Even if Chrescendo is like, I've got a really big advantage over Jelluh in terms of personal best, Chrescendo is still playing to put up the best time he can. Because not only will that determine any tie breaks, it will also determine seeding into the next stage. If Chrescendo goes 3-0, well, there's probably a couple other people who are going to be 3-0 in their groups, and so we need a way to sort them into the next bracket. So fastest time in the tournament is how we're going to do that. Missing that first hit there on Spewert. Jelluh having a bit of oh, the ground pound instead of the hat dive. That is a costly death. Meanwhile, Spewert goes down for a Chrescendo. Not getting the ride on the sled as the makeshift sled, but also just getting pushed by the wind, so still getting a boost there. So Chrescendo's going to be moving on through luncheon. Nice job grabbing this moon around the back. Riding down the side of that mountain. Ooh, bonking into the pillar though. If there was any bonk you were going to take, though, that one's not too bad. We saw Chrescendo get the salt jump earlier on. Pretty tricky section. Oh, and another bonk. This one a little more costly because we're going to have to use the fork here. Like a Jedi. Chrescendo able to get the hat down there to break the block. Spicing up the soup a little bit. As Jelluh's moving on for the last moon in snow. Moon on top of the pillar for Chrescendo. Jelluh getting hung up a little bit, but otherwise a really nice run to the final moon as Chrescendo gets over the gap. And now we're going to be seeing this Podoboo. And I believe this is forks. There's two ways players can go. They can be like Luke and use the forks here in this section. Which Chrescendo is doing very well. Gets that really long hat throw around the corner. Oh, not quite the diagonal you need to get up to that moon, but still very solid forks. The other thing you can do is go to the Podoboo section. I don't know if players have kind of settled on one being faster than the other. Also, I think I caught it, but never mind. I saw something earlier. I won't mention it. Chrescendo back into that Podoboo. Moving really cleanly up top there. And now we're gonna see if Chrescendo can cut the cheese. Controlling these frying pans is very hard. In some cases, you don't even really want to be up close to it because of the arc of the frying pans. I mean, if you're really right up there, Jelluh getting the salt jump, right in front of it, it will sometimes hit the one right in front, but it's really finicky. So that was a decent cheese there for Chrescendo. Jelluh looking really good in luncheon so far. Into the Spewert fight. As Chrescendo lights the torch with the Podoboo. Spewert putting just a little bit more distance than Chrescendo did between themselves and... Whoa, okay. Nice job landing on that little section there to grab that moon. But with the Speward fight, Crescendo's being a little more aggressive, standing a little closer, getting those hits just a little sooner. Capture the meat, jump twice, summon the bird, and you get a whole grand moon. Or multi-moon, depending on the version. I think most speedrunners are playing on the Japanese version, so it's going to say Grand Moon. I don't know what they thought was so grand about that sequence of events. But 3 easy moons, we'll take it. Jelluh's moving a little left and right here on that ridge section, but handles the pillar afterwards very well. No bonk there. There's the hat throw for the moon. Golden turnip, I'm gonna call it. Into the pot, properly seasoned. As Crescendo moves on to Ruined Kingdom. Gonna be rolling up the stairs. And we're into this dragon fight. Chrescendo showing us where this heart is. Not much we can do, but wait it out. The dragon decides, like all too many video game bosses before him, that maybe putting my face really close to them is a good tactic. And it doesn't pay off. Mario is able to scale his face and actually hurt him. We'll see if the dragon learns from its mistakes, but I don't think so. Crescendo's gonna get up there early, take a damage boost, so that we can start pulling out these pegs sooner. Been a good dragon fight so far. Jelluh getting hit by the... I was gonna call it lava, but never really thought about what it actually is. It hurts like lava though. It takes a bit of damage. The moon will refill it, but the cutscene, not cutscene, but animation of your health bar being healed by the moon and then returning to its proper place in the corner of the screen does eat up a little bit of time. No problems with the dragon for Crescendo. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in this tournament like really have problems with the dragon. And we're getting the Podoboo section from Jelluh. Ooh, not quite. Not quite getting the edge, or over the edge. That's going to work out beautifully. That part's tricky, but also tricky is getting through this section here. Is going to be opting to do the damage boost strat. Doesn't cost much more time than trying to nail that tricky jump and is so much safer. Most players in the tournament have been doing that strat. Going for the moon. Way out on the brink and gets it successfully. And we just need our grand moon. Going straight to the fork from the side. That looked good, but a bonk afterwards, not so good. Chrescendo is into Bowser Kingdom. This is maybe the toughest kingdom. It's definitely up there. And there's been a couple route changes here that opt for riskier, more execution-demanding moons. Wow, the triple jump off the top of the railing. Chrescendo cutting that one a little close. And Jelluh has wrapped up with the meat and bird section of luncheon. Is going to be heading into Ruined Kingdom next. Chrescendo's moving on to the next section of Bowser Kingdom. See, he rolls right past that checkpoint. Just edge a little over and grab that checkpoint. But whatever, Chrescendo's feeling it. He just knows deep down inside he's not gonna need it. He's gonna grab this Pokio. I don't think we're gonna see the hole in the wall strats. Nope, we're out. But you can hit another bomb and hit those blocks further in the back in the corner. Reveals a hole. You can extendo beak into it and get a moon somehow. That's what most of the moons in this game should probably be called. Somehow a moon. Nice movement getting up to that moon for Chrescendo. Does get that checkpoint. It is literally directly between the places you want to go. As Chrescendo's into the first of several fights coming up. This is Harriet. Knock her ball back. Then knock this one up into the UFO. The UFO section's pretty easy, but it's not free to knock these ones back when she's in her dancing left and right phase. Can be a little tricky to move just far enough to the side to get the angle you need to hit her. You can also choose to be more aggressive and be closer and hit them sooner. But there is an increased risk associated with that, obviously. Dragon is down for Jelluh. As Chrescendo's into the topper fight. Topper is a much tougher fight to optimize this time around. There's so many hats. Wow, the ground pound strat. Using the timing of the ground pound. Man. Chrescendo nailing that topper fight. It is not easy to land on the correct hat. But Chrescendo making it look otherwise. And then rolling past the moon. Nails the hard stuff. And then flubs there a little bit. That's fine. Get the flub out of your system. Because you don't want to flub on this next boss. Well, we're not quite there yet, but it's coming up. It's looming over our heads. Chrescendo is not going to be grabbing that moon there. There's one there in some routes. Got our Pokio, doing the sort of diagonal upward strats. Motion controls to get more height out of these jumps. Looking pretty good. Need to get over to the left as much as you can through this section. Ooh, barely getting up there. Nice job. As Jelluh starts Bowser Kingdom. Chrescendo is off into the Mecha Brutal fight. The intended way is to use the bird, the Pokio, to knock these bombs back and destroy the legs, but ground pound and a cap dive to get around, and you can skip the bird. More hat dives to stay up top. When the mech turns to face him, those ears can get in your way when that happens. Able to get that second hit right away. Hat dives back on top. Mech's freaking out a little bit. Looks like it's going to go all the way across. Oh, it's going to the middle. Duh. Still, cleanly landing that side ground pound. Couple more hat dives to get back on top. Very, very good Mecha Brutal fight from Chrescendo. That's kind of the last big roadblock. No, there's Moonskip. And if you go for the truly fast stuff on the Bowser fights, those aren't so easy anymore. Not that they were, you know, totally free before. Seen plenty of players get too close, not pull the hat back in fast enough. But now, if you really want to go fast, you need to be right up front, taking the damage boosts, and getting the cap right away. Which Chrescendo did in the first Bowser fight. Ooh, Jelluh. A dive without a hat is a deep, deep dive. Second time around, able to get up to that moon. Jelluh's going to be moving on to the Harriet fight after recovering from a quick bonk. We'll see how this goes. First hit's good. Oh, but not quite able to get on top. That's okay. Salvaged. As Chrescendo gets to the moon. Our destination, of course, is the chapel. And we've got a way to get up there pretty quick. Fire Flower's a little faster, meanwhile Jelluh's Harriet fight pretty much flawless for that one little bit there at the start. And now we got the Moonskip. 2 wall jumps off very particular parts of the wall. There's one. Nope. Didn't like it. 1. Couldn't find the second. Oh, it does get something, but it's not going to be good enough. 1. That one looked good. Yeah, there it is. And he's probably feeling a little shaky, so he is going to land on that ledge rather than going straight up to the red carpet. Meanwhile, Jelluh's having a bit of trouble with Topper. This is a very hard fight. Is why I tried to... Well, not very hard, but it's very hard to do it perfectly. Which is why I was emphasizing that Chrescendo did so well in that fight. Jelluh showing us how easily it can start to go wrong, but does get it down. First Bowser hit for Chrescendo coming up. Just gotta jump the fire tail. Into this fire section. Trying to destroy the bitrate as best he can by scrolling the camera into the flames. Swagging a little bit. He's up close here. Takes the hit. Gets the cap. The cap kind of bounced pretty far away though, so that was a little annoying perhaps, but very solid second phase. Jelluh having a bit of trouble getting up there in Bowser Kingdom. Going for this again. 1, 2. Nice. Instant hack grab. Throwing one extra punch there. I don't know if that was accidental or messing around or if purposeful. It could be that Chrescendo was using the punch to sort of time out when to jump. Reminds me of the way people use the shotgun in Quake to time out when a grenade's gonna explode. Just, you know, some sort of action that takes a certain amount of time. Into the escape sequence. A couple little optimizations to be made here. This is going to be a solid run for PB. For Chrescendo, his PB is of 108 or so I don't think that's on the table. But you always want to be looking for the best time you can in this tournament. So Chrescendo gets the triple jump. That's kind of the first thing. And then there's two things to this 2D section. One is don't die. Two is, do you want to risk dying to go for this 2D skip? Gets it. Saves 2 seconds. Costs, I don't know, 45 or something if you miss it. But goes forward and gets it. Looking good. Fireballs being placed nice and early to get through these walls. Meanwhile, Jelluh is into the Mecha Brutal fight. Is also gone. Ooh, last second turn there. The ground pound is off. Thankfully landing on a platform. That's a clean hit. As Chrescendo is trying to get these pillars down. It's very hard to aim those fireballs from long distance. Jelluh done with the Mecha Brutal fight. Nice job. Looks like he's got one more hit on this. No, 2 or more. But those 3 are going to be good to knock down the final pillar. Chrescendo was fighting for the sub 9, but is just not quite gonna get it. Finishing in first place with a final SRL time of 1:09.18. A very impressive time in this tournament for Chrescendo. How many seconds is that off, PB? 20? 30? Couldn't be more than a minute. Very solid run. Now, Jelluh's PB, we looked up as of... Oh, I guess this is the same one that was submitted 14 days ago, but it is a 1:15.38. A minute. No, so he has a low 108. A very low 108. Knocking on the door for 107. Look out for Chrescendo. But Jelluh has got a 1:15.38. So let's see how Moon goes for Jelluh. I've noticed some players haven't always kept their leaderboard time up to date. So I don't know if Jelluh's PV there is truly the best Jelluh has ever done. That's the assumption we'll be working with. I don't know the game super well, but I feel like even with a very good Moon skip, it's going to be pretty hard to hit that 115 mark. Moon going very well so far. There's really so much that can go wrong until you get to the skip. Ground pound jump, cap dive, finds that one place. Not quite getting the second one. One. Third time's the charm. Come on now. That's not the way to go. Oh. I think... No, I'm not going to pretend to know the specifics of how this jump is done, but... I want to say Jelluh's not moving far enough towards the camera. No, it was kind of the opposite, I think. But Jelluh does execute on that moon skip. Gonna be rolling into the Bowser fight. Mario objects. Because no one else did, apparently. And now we're into the fight. Capturing the hat and getting it back at the right time. If you're too close, if you're too late, bringing that hat into you, Bowser's going to jump away. Well, he's going to take his hat back. Whereas if you're too far, Bowser's going to jump away. So, need to time that well, and did. That's the first hit. Hat going way out to the right, but Jelluh manages to track it down. Wow, dives there with the cap. Getting in on Bowser. Second hit is good. So Jelluh is in a group with the Sound Defense. Jelluh's already picked up that win. And with this loss, Jelluh's going to be 1-1. So a very important match against Imagine Phil, a top Majora's Mask runner with a pretty decent Odyssey time. This is what's coming up for Jelluh. But there's time to worry about that later. For now, we're going to finish out this run. We're going to capture Bowser himself. Getting hung up a little bit on the blocks. It is very hard to avoid doing that. The top players will make this section look a lot more trivial than it is. Triple jump is good. into the 2D section. Set the block up and thought about it for a moment, but Jelluh thinks better of it. Though you can't afford to wait too long here. No problems there. 3, 4, and I think 5 fireball. No, 1 slash. 5 fireballs and a slash will get you through that set of walls there. Second set goes very well. Jelluh getting pushed around a little bit by a falling rock, but does crack open that gold wall and is into the anime section, looking for these long distance fireballs. Actually going to rotate the camera to help aim. I think at least a few of those were good. I don't know if it's faster though if you were sort of walking towards the pillar and not walking towards the first pillar on the left. That's part of what makes that strat so hard, is you need to be moving left but aiming right as much as you can. Going for some more long distance shots. Has the right angle, is just gonna wait and throw. Yep. Going to be a little outside the 117 mark. Finishing with a final SRL time of 1:17.14. Jelluh improving their best tournament time by over 2 minutes. Showing us something a little more like what they're truly capable of. Bowser, he never gives up, does he? So there it is. That's going to be one of many races. But you know what? Why don't we talk about it? Why don't we talk about how that race went? With Chrescendo, how are you doing? Having mic troubles a little bit.
Hello?
Hello!
Sorry.
It happens. It's a coin flip whether or not Discord's gonna work. But welcome. How do you feel about that race?
I mean, I felt pretty good about it. It was better than my first race. I think my first race was a 110 something, so a low 109 I feel pretty good about.
I heard you recently improved your PB by a couple seconds.
Yeah, I was just doing no reset runs last night and like just hanging out and like just, you know, kind of not really focusing too much and like talking with chat and stuff, and got like a random 4-second PB last night, so it's cool. I think I actually like bumped up one spot on the leaderboard too because of that, so that's cool.
So when you're racing, against someone where you know there's a gap between your PBs, do you change what you do at all in your route and your decisions?
Okay,
like to play
so
things safer, or do you just
funny
do what you
story.
always do?
So like I recently learned Sphinx Clip. Like I mean I've known how to do it for like pretty much ever since its conception, but I have never really been good at Sphinx Clip. And so I told myself that I wasn't gonna go for Sphinx Clip in like races yet. But during this race, the beginning of Cap Kingdom, I went to the left side, you know, instead of the right side. So I didn't get any of the coins from the right side.
Oh.
And so I'm just like muscle memory, I guess. I just randomly went left side, and I was like, well, we're doing this. So since I went left side on Cap Kingdom, I pretty much had to go for Sphinx Clip because I missed, you know, 20, 30 coins from the ramp. And it didn't go like too great. I got it after, I don't know how many tries, like less than 10 tries, but I clipped into the Sphinx room. So then instead of going for flowing sands like you'd normally get, I had to get tree notes, because usually if you go for Sphinx Clip, you skip tree notes.
Right.
But then pretty much everything else was the same as far as routing after that.
We've also got Jelluh joining us. Are you there? Hello.
I'm here.
Welcome.
Thanks.
GG's, guys. Jelluh, how do you feel about your race?
Yeah, it went pretty well. I mean, pretty much what I expected. I didn't expect to win or anything against the like number 8 person in the world or something like that.
I mean, you were like pretty close to me for a while. I was sweating, I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
You never know. You never know, dude.
I guess. I
You
mean,
put
you
the pressure
wouldn't-
on, basically, and then it's up to them to blow it.
Yeah, you had to make a pretty big mistake to.
Yeah.
to
With
get
like
to the
Mecha
finish.
Brutal though, you never know what can happen with that. And
That's true.
like missing 2D shortcut or something like that, that's like almost a minute right there.
Yeah, that's big. But yeah, I was like a minute or something off my PB, so that's pretty good for a race for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
is
about,
really good.
That's about the same for me. I was about a minute above PB.
So in that way, it's a tie.
Yeah.
Um,
The goal was really to beat my PB from my race PB, which was from yesterday.
oh, you crushed that one. That was
Yeah,
2 minutes slower.
yeah, but it also was like 2 a.m. at that point yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, true.
No, it's a little earlier, so that helped. And I practiced.
So you feel a lot better about this one. You
Yeah.
got one more. You're not out of it yet. You're 1-1. You got a race against Imagine Phil coming up. Do you feel like you're going to be able to go in, knock the tournament best down a little more?
Yeah, I can definitely beat this time. Yeah, I don't know what Phil's PB is, or if he plays a lot. Never really watched his stream or anything.
I think last I saw, like from a few days ago, his PB was like a low 116.
Okay.
So I mean that'll probably be a really good race once you guys get that scheduled.
Yeah, it's gonna be really close.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I think all of us in our group still have to race Phil.
Yeah.
He's been lagging a little bit, but there's plenty of December left.
He's getting in all that practice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you guys are practicing. Don't tell me you're not practicing.
Yeah, I am.
All the time, man. Non-stop.
Nice. That's perfect.
Not really.
Love it. All right. Great race. Congratulations, Crescendo. Thanks
Yeah,
for
congrats.
the interview and
guys.
best of luck in the tournament.
Thanks.
Cool.
All right, folks. That's it for this match of Super Mario Odyssey. Plenty more coming up, including one in progress on twitch.tv/speedgaming2. So that's probably where we're going to go. But there are Odyssey matches happening all day today. One starting in 30 minutes on Speed Gaming 3. We got one starting at 9. After that, and then 10:30 as well after that. All on Speed Gaming 3. That's going to be where most of the Odyssey is for tonight. And there's other stuff on there too. Pokemon Cinco Bingo, Mega Man 1, Mega Man X, and our Link to the Past randomizer daily races, of course. So, go watch what you want to watch, because you got options. And I hope you enjoyed so much. I've been Mythical9. Our runners, links to their channels are in the chat if you want to follow them, tune into their practice and whatnot. And I'm in there too. Take care, folks.